Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dalton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard is at the center of a firestorm in Dalton, Illinois, and the controversy surrounding her is anything but ordinary. This isn't your run-of-the-mill local political drama. This is a full-blown saga complete with lawsuits, restraining orders, eviction notices, and even federal investigations. It's as if her life has turned into a reality TV show, unfolding episode by episode in real time, with no shortage of twists and turns.
Has reversed some of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's decisions. At last night's village board meeting, Henyard announced a 30-day temporary appointment.
The small suburban town just outside Chicago has become ground zero for an unprecedented political crisis, with Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the epicenter of a storm of legal and political turmoil. Her contentious leadership style and unyielding grip on power have created a toxic standoff with the village board of trustees, resulting in a chaotic and very public power struggle that has left residents bewildered and outraged. The legal battles between Henyard and the trustees have intensified, characterized by heated confrontations, courtroom showdowns, and polarizing decisions. At the core of the conflict is Henyard's relentless push to consolidate authority, a move that has been met with staunch opposition from the trustees, who accuse her of overreach and employing authoritarian tactics. The feud reached a critical point when a Cook County judge stepped in, issuing a temporary injunction to address the escalating tensions. This intervention marked a turning point in the increasingly fraught relationship between Henyard and the trustees, signaling that the battle for control in this suburban community is far from over. A Cook County judge recently issued a restraining order to halt some of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's most contentious decisions, including her controversial appointment of Ronald Burr as police chief. The court's intervention underscored the widening rift in local governance, with the village board of trustees successfully arguing that Henyard had overstepped her authority. I guess this legal rebuke further highlighted the power struggle that has thrown the community into chaos. Henyard's aggressive push for authority has not only alienated the trustees, but also disrupted the town's operations, leaving essential governance functions in disarray. Critical projects have stalled and, create the already financially strained community now finds itself mired in political turmoil. For residents, the conflict has transformed local government into a battleground, prioritizing personal power struggles over the town's pressing needs. I hope that Henyard supporters describe her as a bold, reform-driven leader challenging entrenched opposition to bring transformative change. However, her critics tell a starkly different story, one of a mayor who disregards rules, sidesteps checks and balances, and prioritizes personal ambition over the well-being of the community. This ongoing clash has left many questioning the future of leadership in this embattled suburban town, and operate unilaterally to maintain her grip on power. Critics argue that the court's intervention is yet another instance of Henyard's overreach being checked, hailing the judge's decision as a win for accountability and proper governance. The restraining order preventing Ronald Burr's appointment underscores how deeply the power struggle has infiltrated the town's key institutions. Henyard's attempt to appoint Burr ignited fierce debate, with trustees contending that the process was rushed, lacked transparency, and violated established protocols. The court's ruling validated those concerns, casting a spotlight on Henyard's growing reputation for making controversial decisions that circumvent standard procedures. Her opponents assert that this reflects a broader pattern in her leadership, one characterized by a prioritization of personal control over collaboration and consensus building. As these tensions continue to unfold, the resulting discord has left the town in a state of uncertainty, raising questions about the sustainability of Henyard's leadership and the future of local governance. Villains intent on obstructing her vision for the town. Henyard's rhetoric frames her as a reformer under siege, steadfastly battling against entrenched forces that she claims are resisting necessary change. However, her critics argue that this narrative is a deflection from the real issues plaguing her administration. The ongoing courtroom clashes and public disputes have left the town's governance in disarray, with crucial decisions delayed or derailed by the infighting. For Henyard, this conflict seems as much about political survival as leadership. Mounting criticism from the board and an increasingly vocal public has centered on allegations of financial mismanagement, questionable appointments, and excessive spending on personal security, all of which have fueled widespread discontent. Henyard's critics argue that her fierce defense of authority is driven more by self-interest than a commitment to serving the community, accusing her of prioritizing personal power over the town's welfare. Despite the mounting opposition, the mayor remains resolute, portraying herself as a target of political sabotage. What other public events and rallies? She energizes her supporters with fervent speeches, casting her opponents as barriers to the progress she envisions for the town. The escalating conflict has left local governance in a state of paralysis, with critical decisions stalled amid the infighting. As the leadership crisis deepens, residents are left wondering whether a resolution is possible or if the community will remain entangled in ongoing political chaos. Claims of transformative leadership continues to erode. Despite her assertions, the town's reality paints a starkly different picture. The prolonged power struggle has fostered a climate of dysfunction, where political rivalries have taken precedence over effective governance, leaving critical initiatives in a state of stagnation. Frustration among residents has grown as pressing local issues, such as public safety and infrastructure improvements, remain neglected. For many, the ongoing political spectacle has become a source of shame, casting the town as a cautionary tale of mismanagement and discord. Even as Henyard staunchly defends her leadership, public confidence in her ability to guide the community forward continues to wane. Leadership continues to erode, with growing doubts about her judgment and priorities casting a long shadow over her administration. The repercussions of the legal battles extend far beyond the courtroom, rippling through every aspect of the town's governance. The police department, central to the controversy surrounding Burr's appointment, finds itself in a precarious position. Its leadership remains in flux, and its operations are increasingly strained. The ongoing feud has exacerbated tensions within the department, further complicating efforts to address mounting concerns about public safety. This turmoil has left both officers and residents questioning the ability of the town's leadership to effectively navigate these challenges.
Tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings. So that's some progress there. But this meeting was not without its...
The escalating political tensions in Dolton have reached a critical juncture as Mayor Tiffany Henyard faces intensifying legal and federal scrutiny, accusations of power-driven governance, and bypassing procedural and legal norms have placed her administration under a harsh spotlight. Critics contend that Henyard's controversial actions, such as her attempt to appoint Ronald Burr as police chief, blatantly violate Illinois municipal ordinances, which require proper board approval for such decisions. They argue that this is more than a procedural oversight. It is a crucial safeguard designed to prevent the concentration of unchecked power. The village board, increasingly alarmed by Henyard's maneuvers, has actively resisted what they perceive as attempts to fill key government positions with loyalists. This resistance has resulted in a high-stakes standoff that underscores Dolton's struggles with governance and accountability. The impasse has now drawn judicial intervention, with a Cook County judge stepping in to issue a temporary restraining order, halting some of Henyard's most contentious appointments and further intensifying the already fraught political climate. The Cook County judge's order blocking Mayor Tiffany Henyard's controversial appointments marks a significant victory for those seeking to curtail her influence. This legal intervention highlights the intensifying battles surrounding Henyard's leadership, which go beyond accusations of a power grab to reveal a deeper struggle over control and transparency within Dolton's administration. Critics argue that Henyard's actions represent a calculated effort to consolidate power, silence opposition, and shape local government to serve her interests rather than the public's. These concerns have fostered a climate of distrust and disillusionment as residents observe critical governance devolving into a spectacle of infighting and courtroom drama. Rather than being deterred by these setbacks, Henyard has responded by doubling down on her position, portraying herself as a bold leader fighting against entrenched resistance. However, her defiance has only fueled the growing divide, leaving the community increasingly disheartened by a leadership crisis that prioritizes political survival over meaningful progress. Publicly asserting her determination to stand firm despite mounting opposition, Mayor Henyard frames the situation as a fight for the town's future, positioning herself as a transformative leader battling against obstructionist forces. However, the stakes have risen dramatically for her administration, as federal authorities have now turned their attention to Dalton. Reports suggest that the FBI is investigating potential financial improprieties under Henyard's leadership, intensifying her legal troubles. The investigation is believed to focus on possible mismanagement of village finances, adding a serious dimension to the ongoing controversies. The involvement of federal investigators underscores the depth of the dysfunction within Dalton's leadership, raising not only concerns about the immediate allegations, but also broader questions about the long-term impact on the town's governance and public trust. This was governance in Dalton, a community already grappling with significant economic and administrative challenges, is further strained by the federal investigation into Mayor Henyard's leadership. Allegations of financial mismanagement have intensified concerns about the town's fiscal stability, particularly as Dalton has long struggled with budget deficits. But critics have highlighted the discrepancies between Henyard's claims of bringing millions into the village and the ongoing financial shortfalls that continue to affect residents. Accusations of excessive spending and questionable fiscal practices have become a focal point in the debate over her leadership. Reports of extravagant expenses, including tens of thousands of dollars spent on Amazon purchases, have only added fuel to the fire, casting serious doubt on her ability to effectively manage taxpayer resources. The federal probe has brought these issues to the forefront, magnifying the already high stakes surrounding Henyard's administration. The ongoing investigation into Henyard's financial practices and leadership decisions not only threatens her political future, but also deepens the erosion of public trust in local governance. Despite mounting legal challenges, Henyard remains defiant, framing herself as the victim of politically motivated attacks. Critics, however, argue that her actions reveal a troubling disregard for the essential checks and balances that ensure effective leadership. The temporary restraining order blocking her appointments highlights a consistent pattern of unilateral decision-making and a lack of collaboration with the village board. For Henyard, these conflicts are part of a larger struggle for reform. For her opponents, they represent the dangerous consequences of overreach and arrogance. As these opposing narratives continue to unfold in courtrooms, public meetings, and media coverage, Dalton finds itself at a pivotal crossroads, uncertain of its future and the resolution of its ongoing leadership crisis.